Hello everyone, Dan 14th Prime here. Today I want to check out with you guys the Hot Toys MMS 490. This is Deadpool, as seen in the Deadpool 2 movie. Very nice figure, I will say. Happy I picked this up. It's our second Deadpool we're getting in recent history here. I will do a comparison in this video, but I think in this with this figure, they do a nice job with the overall color and the suit, and there's definitely some improvements, but we will compare it to the original. I won't get into the box here. If you're interested in checking out the box and sort of how it packs out into the layers and what's in there as you go into the figure, check me out on Instagram. Same handle, Dan 14th Prime. You'll check a pic out there, recently uploaded. And then in terms of the figure, like I said, it's a good Deadpool. I do like it. If you don't have a Deadpool, I recommend you pick it up. Check the link in the description below. I've got a link down there to Sideshow. He's still available. They still got inventory coming in. He's on pre-order. Any shopping you do through those links supports the channel at no cost to you. So very much appreciated if anything on the channel is ever valuable to you. As I mentioned, I do have the original Deadpool still, and we will do a comparison in this video. If you have the original Deadpool, I would say actually do not buy the new Deadpool. I don't think you need it. I don't think the updates are significant enough. Stick around for the comparison segment in the video, and you'll see all the details as to why. If you have neither, and though Deadpool 2 is probably easier to come by, again, available in stock at Sideshow, link in the description below, but based on the comparison, you might decide you want the first one. Check the link in the description below. I'll jump you out to eBay, have a good filter search on there so you can find this figure as well, because you may prefer him. All right, guys, so let's jump in on our new Deadpool 2 figure here. Again, I'll just quickly wide angle so you can kind of just get an overall look for the suit. Again, the color, the fit of the suit, I think are the highlights and the improvements. The build of the figure, again, I don't love it. Really kind of a lean, very athletic build. So kind of leaner arms, skinny legs, poofy butt, poofy chest, really thin waist. So I don't love the build of the figure, but then overall the suit, it's good. It's movie accurate. It's as good as the original with all the pouches and the boots and the knives and the guns, swords and all that. I think look really good. So overall, definitely a very good Deadpool figure. If we start upstairs here, I'll let you kind of just take in some of the details. Very similar to the original figure, but we'll do the detail comparison. But this is that thing from the movie that like takes your mutant powers away. So that can kind of just like go around his neck and just clip back there basically. So pretty straightforward. I would never use it, but you know, they throw in these little things, mementos to the movie. He gets his little stuffed unicorn, I guess. I'll use him as background here. It's plastic, not plush, which was a little disappointing. I was hoping it was going to be like plush. But you can see, this guy's little gold feet. It's well done. The eyes are painted well, blue accents in the ears, some texture kind of through it, and the horse tail and everything. Little unicorn thing, so okay, it's a little goofy thing he has, and you can do. So it comes with that. Though Hot Toys continues to keep some powder dry by not giving us the Wade Wilson unmasked head sculpt. They will eventually. It's what they do. They milk it. Hot Toys, they're great artists, but they are shrewd businessmen. They know exactly how to hold things back to get you to buy the next figure. They did it masterfully with the Ben Affleck head sculpt, not giving it until literally what's going to be the last figure that's going to be a Ben Affleck Batman. So I'm sure a bit lucky with that one. But they continue to hold back the Wade Wilson burnt, toasted head sculpt. But it's okay. This is definitely the main look. And these eyes go on with magnets. And one thing they didn't give us in this kit is like the magnet to try to take off the eyes, which is fine because it didn't work worth a crap on the original figure anyway. You just have to get in there with your fingers. And you just grab a new eye and plop it in there. And I'll just show you a few. Again, check out the pics. Again, if you jump out to Sideshow, I'm sure they show a bunch of different pics, but the short of it is you're just going to get variations of squint, in the eye, more or less. That looks pretty good, actually. I like that. Do another one over here. I'll just show them all to you, at least on one side. And they're pretty subtle, but when you get them in there, you do actually sort of see some differences. And then finally here, you get those sets in each eyes. It's five sets in total, so 10 total eyelets. Definitely more than enough to get all kinds of cool expressions and looks and poses. Again, all through the suit, nailed the color, nailed the dark shading. Better at the neck in the suit, better through the shoulders. We'll see all that. Otherwise, let me give you a bit of a pan. You can take in the details of the suit. Again, very screen accurate, I think. Very form-fitting, lean-looking suit. They definitely improved it. You got the belt. I've complained, or you'll hear me complain throughout the video, just I can't get it to sit as flat around the waist as I like. It always rides up on his butt. Don't love the, again, the whole pelvis, crotch area. It just looks like the guy has like no junk at all. I think it's a very feminine looking pelvis area. As we cruise through the midsection, the belt, the pouches, right? Classic Deadpool, all the strappy things going on with the guns, and again, more pouches through the legs, knee pads, and then down into some metallic red accented boots with the boot knife, same as before. So that's kind of the up and down pan. I will say the color and look and detail on the figure is very, very good. Give you a pan down the side here, side of the head, it's still good. He's got the little cap piece there. The ear impression, that all looks good. The wrinkling through the mask all looks good. Again, the side view of the neck is good. And then you can see just the leanness of the figure and the shoulder and everything. Definitely smaller, you'll see when we compare. Smaller than before. The hands improved, I think, probably with the accent painting on the back of the glove. I don't know if that's a movie difference or just something they decided to do differently. But that pops out a bit more. And again, many, many pouches, poofy butt, more streamlined, kind of this carbon fiber, graphite looking holster, which is cool. Skinny legs down into the metallic boots again, and the knife down there. Same as before, you can draw the knife out. And there it is. It got some serrations, double side kind of blade. Nice details through the handle. Make sure we're getting a good focus there so you can take a look at that. Very nice knife. If we come around the back of the figure, the swords, again, metallic or magnetized onto the back, same as before. So that's handy. I like that. Again, you see the very athletic build with the broad shoulders, really lean waist. And we just pan down, liking big butts. Just really slender all the way through. I mean, it's good, it's pretty good. Can't complain, it's pretty good. Let's grab one of the guns here and take a look. You get a pair of these, you'll see the comparison, for all intents and purposes, the same as it always was. Thought this had some working action in it. Yeah, so you kind of get like a working slide, same as before. Some basic detailing. What's he got, like a Desert Eagle? Is that what he carries? And then he's got his holster there, and it just kind of pokes through like that. I do get, in the new one, the pouches get in the way sometimes. I felt like the spacing was better on the original figure, where put the gun in the holster and it wasn't an issue. Maybe I just need to bring up my holsters or something. I don't know, but it's how it's been out of the box, which I would have thought would have been the right place. Sometimes the gun interferes with the pouches. Accessory-wise, he also comes with the high heels from one of the goofy scenes in this movie. I gotta say, this movie wasn't as good as the original. I don't know, some of this humor is just sort of like, when you expect it, it's not as good. I don't know, that's just me, but... So, it looks like off with his feet came the ankle pegs, unfortunately. Okay, sorry, but those ankle pegs are not cooperating, and I don't have tools with me to get them out of there. That's kind of annoying. But I'm just trying to give you a feel for what that looks like when they're on. I mean, ridiculous. I will never use them. But whatever. Again, they throw in all this gimmicky stuff from the movie. But if you just want to see this high heel shoe up close, it's like a big platform high heel thing. Again, the metallic red trim. We just go in there with an ankle peg. So that's what those look like. You also get his X-Man trainee jersey. Trainee on the back, again, goofy scene from the movie. Velcro on the side. And they advise, though it looks like, let me see here. Let's take a look. Yeah, I mean, you could put that over his head, probably. But I'll show you how they advise. In the directions is to pop off the head, and you just kind of go up one arm, pull it across, of course, and you want to Velcro it on this side. So then you kind of get this look, which you can clean up, of course. I will say, having taken off his head there and done that, I see why the head articulation isn't great, because the ball peg is really pretty far down there. It connects sort of like mid-chest. It's deep. So I get why we have a hard time getting his head to kind of stay down. The joints just too far into the chest. But there you get the big X, the yellow jersey, the trainee on the back. Again, another goofy plus-up accessory from the prior release. Then here are just like all the hands. Quite a few for all different types of expressions and emojis, right? With okay and thumbs up and pointing. And the face hands, a pair of fists, a pair of trigger hands that are on the figure already for the gun. Sword hands. So lots of hands, and then a couple, ninja stars. Same as the last figure. So I think, the same as the prior figure, just different paint on the hands. And while we're on the topic of hands, let's just check out, because hands and wrist was kind of an issue with the prior figure. Not mine, I got like the second batch, so I've had no issues. But you can see here, they've got the suit really tucking in behind this plastic guard and then into the peg, whereas the suit was kind of seamed all the way up on the old figure. So I think they improved that as well, which was a bit of a quality issue on the prior figure. So you won't have that issue. All right, let's do a bit of articulation quickly on the figure. Overall, it's good, but has some challenges. Side to side is fine. Again, you can even get probably just a little bit of head cock. It doesn't stay as well. Again, I think the joint's like all the way down here, so that's the issue. That's why it's hard to get it to stay looking down. It's hard to get it to stay looking up. So it's a bit of a sacrifice there. The arms here, they advise kind of about like this, 45 degrees, because of the suit. You really start to see it get stretched there. You can get his arm straight up, even slightly above, pointing up. So I think that's pretty good, and it doesn't feel like it's doing anything too gnarly to the suit. And kind of similar, you get some back as well. Pretty well articulated through there. I think in terms of range of motion, there we go. Okay, double elbow. We'll get you a nice bend there. The suit material, I don't know if it doesn't feel like it's gonna give you long-term crease problems. I don't know, because I've only had the figure a couple days. But at least when you do that type of bend, I don't really see anything forming. When you think Spider-Man, Batman, Arkham Knight, you would often even see the crease happening when you first put him into pose. So at least not seeing that, it gives me some confidence that probably we won't have suit issues with this guy. The waist is really kind of up into the torso, and he's got like a little waist down there, but most of that is up into the torso in terms of trying to get him to go side to side. He's got some ability to kind of really crunch like that, and then back as well like that. And again, side to side like that. So you really got to use the body a bit more to get some of that up, down, side to side versus the head. And there's something here where, again, I feel like I can kind of push in the diaphragm. So you can sort of position a bit just the core. Whether you want his chest sticking out a bit more and his abs sticking out more, or you try to flatten that in a bit, because there is a piece there, a joint there. So you can play with that. I think it affects how the core looks into the whole waist-butt situation, which I've been complaining about. If we go into the bottom here, some thigh swivel there. It's actually pretty damn good. Into his goofy looking pelvis and girly crotch. Double jointed knee. Awesome. Nothing else down there. And then you get, these are just on ball joints, as we saw, trying to swap out the stuff. No toe hinge or anything like that, though. Like this, again, they give you kind of like the 45 degree, warning because of just the pull on this suit. So I think that's the bulk of it. Again, overall, it's good. It's probably as good as the last figure, save for the head up and down movement. So a couple final things to show you before we get into the comparison, which will be a detailed review as well. But a dynamic stand, which is great on sort of a more traditionally sized base. So that might appeal to some people because it's a bit leaner and meaner of a footprint, but you still get a dynamic stand. You can just see there the Deadpool 2. Kind of monochrome and red. It's back there, blood splatter, the sword, stuff like that. So pretty cool. And then here, guys, honestly, the last thing, which I'm not going to get into because I'm just not going to use this at all, but it's a backdrop. It's sort of like a weapon storage. Again, check the link below, jump through the pics, you'll see it. Deadpool 2, kind of like brick wall. You can put some shelves on it, store all these extra goofy accessories. There's a magnet to store the swords, the sheath as well. And again, it just kind of folds over like this, right? To just make it a display that you would put up into detail, I guess, if you wanted to have all the goodies there with them with kind of these shelves. I won't use this. All right, guys, let's jump into the comparison segment of the video here. Got the two figures lined up, Deadpool 2 on the left and the original on the right there. And you can see, by and large, incredibly similar, as they should be, because not a lot changed between the suit and the look of the character between the first and second movie. But there are some differences just standing back here. Probably two big picture differences to call out. One is just color. The suit on the left, again, it's newly designed suit, newly designed body. Those subtle differences again. But the suit on the left definitely gets, I think, the color right. And you also get more of like black stitching through the suit. So that definitely pops. And I do think that's an improvement. I will say overall, in terms of the body, he's kind of leaner. The new figure is definitely leaner, but maybe more athletic. He's got like a big chest and a big butt. It's funny, you'll see. Whereas I actually like the balance of the overall proportions of the original figure better. I think kind of the shoulders are bigger, the arms are bigger. I think the whole butt and chest situation actually looks better. And also pelvis. It's almost like feminine. We'll get into it here, but almost kind of like feminine build to the pelvis of the original figure, which I don't love. That's, and we'll go through and we'll see some differences, but man, I will say I prefer this body. I prefer this color. Some nicer details on this one maybe. But it was a toss-up for me, and that's why I say, having done it again, I'd probably just sit tight with my Deadpool 1. I think it's plenty good. I do actually prefer elements of it, and whatever net cost you incur to upgrade, it's probably not worth the hassle, quite frankly, in my opinion. Let's check out some of the detail comparatives. All right, so diving into some details, let's start upstairs. I mean, basically the head sculpt and all the eye interchanging pieces are the same. Again, color should pop at you. And again, just like the seams, the seams, kind of like nice black wash or something through there that makes some of these seams pop a little bit more, black through there versus only some kind of worn areas through here. So definitely you see some of these, just like the look of the stitching of the suit, like this one's a prominent one here versus here. Definitely looks better on the new one. They cleaned up some other things. I think the neck is tidier as well. I think I called that out in my heads up video. Just kind of clunkier here a little bit. Though I think it impacts the head articulation over here a bit more because you just can't really get him to stay looking down much at all. Whereas this guy, you can. So that's like the difference in the head articulation because of that neck difference. Kind of annoying that I can't get him to look down. His head always just pops right back. So that's the impact of that improvement on articulation. The shoulders are definitely more seamless over here, kind of just tied in a bit nicer. They sort of floated a bit over here. Same thing with like the shoulder piece. It kind of like floated a bit. It's definitely tidier over here. If we come down into the core of the figure, you'll start to see this more metallic red paint on the belt buckle. You'll see it on the shins as well. The belts are similar, though they're not exactly the same. I will say the first figure, the belt just sits flat, horizontal, whatever you want to call it, across the waist, all the way around the figure, better. On the new figure, it always feels like it's riding up on his butt in the back. Again, it gets back to that kind of feminine look that it's sort of got, but it just sort of looks like arched up his hip. See how it just rises a little bit? Whereas over here, you can see the belt is easier to go straight across on the original figure. And I've been playing with this forever, and it just always ends back up there. And I don't like that. Just makes the whole waist and butt thing look worse when I can't get the belt flat all the way across. It always seems to want to take that shape. And then the other thing in his pelvis area, getting a little personal here, but look at this. Again, it comes back to it. I feel like it's a feminine body underneath there. There's like nothing in the crotch. There's like nothing in the crotch at all. It goes like in. It's like a feminine pelvis crotch. Here, it's like it's a guy's crotch, and it sort of sticks out a bit, right? And it just gives it more of that, the right look in terms of just like waist, pelvis. But, you know, again, the new figure, I don't like it. It's sort of too feminine looking, and it impacts the core of the figure, which, you know, the core, body core, which is significant. It's much, much better on the original figure. I mean, the original Deadpool's got a package. The new one, nothing. And then when you're down into the legs of the figure, you'll see, I think the holsters clean up a bit better and are smaller and tighter. Again, I think the figure is overall more slender. The new figure is more slender, and you should see that at this angle. The knee pads are better on the new figure. They're more integrated, I think. I'm actually noticing I'm getting some lifting here on this one. So kind of similar issue as we saw with the shoulder pads. And then down into the shins, you see you get like the red metallic paint that we saw up on the belt buckle. Matching up there, whereas you just have kind of the regular red here. Let's do profile, and I'll pick up the pace here so you can just really see. I've called out the major differences, but you can then see some of the detailed differences, you know, in terms of just some of the buttons or whatever you'd like to call them, studs on the boots, a little bit different there. Again, you see a bit probably with the width of the leg there. Up here at the mid shot, you see the hand painted differently with the silver accents on the back, whereas not here. I think otherwise the hands are really the same mold. Up into the arm, he's got like a big chunky elbow pad that the new figure does not as well. Just back to that kind of cleaning it up a little bit overall. Now get the arms out of the way there, and there again you can see the guy's butt just like popping out of the back. It just looks ridiculous. But the main thing I want to point out is the holsters. We can see they're much more streamlined, kind of lighter, thinner, you know, much more chunky over here, kind of covering down into the barrel of the gun. Here it's just more like the top piece. Overall, you know, pockets or whatever, little bags there, pretty much the same. Then here on the profile, again, hopefully you can see, I think the original figure, the arm and the shoulder just looks bigger and bulkier. It looks like this piece comes a bit lower on the new figure as well. And again, just a bit more streamlined, maybe a bit of a better black, glossier. This is kind of a more worn type black over here. Otherwise, the head and everything, again, looks the same, just color being a difference, same ear molded in there, similar like wrinkles and creasing and everything that I see. And of course, you see the side profile of the neck, which is definitely, again, an improvement in aesthetics on the new figure, but it has an articulation impact. Then finally here for the figure, I think last thing before we just check a couple accessories, back of the figure. Again, probably improved over here with this thing around the back of the head, kind of smaller, tidier, finer stitching. These accents look better, shaded. Probably the tailoring of the new suit also looks a bit better. It's kind of a little bit baggy on the original guy, a bit through there. But again, you really see just the super athletic look they gave the guy with the really tapering waist into the big shoulders, poofy chest, and then, you know, the poofy butt. It makes it look funny. Then we drop down to the butt view, again, just jumping out at you, but otherwise, you know, the belt kind of looks pretty much the same, and again, same sort of pockets and stuff going on. Again, just sits funny on the new figure with the way the butt just sort of keeps it up in the back, which again sort of makes it look angled and girly. And then here, back of the leg, again, you can see just some of the boots, and again, some of the black pops a bit better in terms of just how it's outlined and stuff. Back of the knee, much smaller sort of articulation spot, whatever you like to call it, in the new figure. So again, just little tidy ups and improvements, which they've definitely done in the suit of the new figure. And I'm just going to do this side quickly. It's probably the only difference I really see in the pouches is this one is definitely more noticeably smaller than what they've got over here. Otherwise, I'd say they've pretty much have been the same across all the other pouches that we've seen. Let me just show a few of the accessories that are kind of meaningful to compare. Again, otherwise things are pretty much similar. We've got the swords here. You can see they are looking very much similar. but you should notice some difference jumping out at you in the details of the swords. So we have them here. Man, that's really tough to see, but on the blade there's sort of an extra indentation accent on the new sword, as well as just a different really shape to it. It's kind of, I don't know, maybe, I don't call it thicker. It definitely finishes differently at the tip. Hopefully you can see that. Different point. You can see that edge in there on the top one. And then you get into the handles. You can see you get this kind of red guard piece up here, which was not on the original. You can see the handles themselves are different. And then on the underside, I don't know, that's so small, I don't know how well that shows up, but some different accenting on the bottom of the handle. So definitely the new swords are an upgrade, I think. Then here in terms of the guns, the new gun up top, super subtle. I don't know if you're going to see it, but probably a little bit darker overall. You definitely see that being all black versus not necessarily the case on the old one. I'd say the old one maybe has a bit, I'd call it wear. Again, maybe it's just lighter, maybe it's wear. But there's a very subtle kind of color or sheen difference that you'll pick up, at least in hand. But again, nothing to really make or break a decision here. And then I think the last thing to show you is just the stands, because again, eyelets, hands, throwing stars, all these little things, all the same between the two figures. Again, except the paint on the hands is of course different, as I showed you. But the stands, you get some difference. So you do get the dynamic stand for the new figure, but it's on a more traditionally sized base, whereas the original figure, you got this big monster. They each have their benefits in costs, let's say. Leaner, still have dynamic stand, but it's not going to provide as much solidity in the base for like really crazy things. This one, unique. If you like a large base, you'll have that. Personally, I tend to not use them at all, so I tend to keep things lean. But I did have him with this for quite some time, posed up in the DTOF, and you can do anything because it's such a big footprint. It stabilizes the figure. Had him upside down, flipping, just doing all kinds of crazy stuff that you would have him seen done in the movie. And this really accommodated that. So in terms of like really trying to get dynamic poses, this base is better for that. But this is a nice compromise because you get the smaller footprint, but still have some dynamic ability with the stand. So again, your preference. So that's the comparison. Again, it's your decision. Of the reviews I've seen of this guy, I'm the only guy that thinks the new one's not a major upgrade, I guess. I don't know, but it's just me. Again, having done this again, I wouldn't do it again. I would have just stuck with my Deadpool 1 and been happy with it. Now I've got to decide which of these two I want to keep, which honestly I have not made up my mind at the moment. Again, if you don't have a Deadpool, this guy is going to be the most available and easy to get. Pick him up, link in the description below. If you don't have a Deadpool and you really want to be picky, well, you've seen all the comparison. You decide. If you want the original Deadpool, link in the description below as well. Jump you out to eBay. Again, any shopping you do through those links supports the channel at no cost to you and is very much appreciated. So again, to recap it for me, on the new figure, better color. That's probably the only main thing. The suit is better and the color is better. I will say the suit, in terms of the tailoring and some of the finishing, is better and the color is definitely better. The body on the old figure, I prefer. I think it's more masculine. I think it suits Deadpool better. This body over here is feminine, has feminine elements to it. I think in trying to make him so athletic looking, really came out looking a bit feminine in some aspects, especially around the pelvis and hip area in particular. Then the accessories, I'd say, really don't drive the decision either way, though slightly better sword details, and then you decide which stand you prefer. So that's why I know, guys. Best of luck in your decision. All right, guys, that's the review. Thanks for checking out the video. If you're picking up a figure, thanks for giving it a look through those links below. Appreciate it very much. I expected to like this figure a bit more, but really in the pics, I could not, though I could pick up on the suit and even the stitching in the suit and the color, I could not pick up on the body elements in the pics. So now having had the figure and compared it, I'm kind of torn. So to be decided what I want to do, but they're both good figures. I'm not unhappy with either, but in trying to decide which one to keep, that's a bit of a conundrum because they're not that different and neither one's perfect. All right, guys, thanks for checking in. Again, check me out on Instagram, Dan14Prime. Check out my Amazon page. I'll link that below as well. Thanks for checking out the video. I'll see you next time.